Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michael Schlein. I'm the Director of the Charities and Legal Services Division for the Maryland Secretary of State's Office. Thank you all for joining this town hall, and hopefully you take something away from it. Go over a few ground rules here we get started. Before we get started, but I think if you take away anything, know that we're here, and if you have, we would love for for everybody to get and stay compliant. And so if you take nothing else away from today, know that, and you can reach out to us. And if I'm in some feedback for this, if you could mute your microphones, please, that would be wonderful. Thank you, guys. So before we get moving here, we're going to go through some slides. Those who have participated before, you kind of know the deal. If not, we're going to cover the material here in today's presentation. If you have any questions as we go along, if I say something that's not clear or you don't understand or you want a little more clarification on, feel free to throw a comment or a question in that chat box. Security officer myself. Every now and then we get some well-intended folks that try to answer other people's questions, but we want to make sure the right answers are given. Sometimes there's some context that's missing, or questions are specific to an individual and not necessarily true for that of everybody, depending on each individual scenario. Today's town hall is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be legal advice. Again, it's not intended to be legal advice and informational purposes only. And today's town hall is also being recorded. By joining this recording, you're consenting to participating in this recording. This town hall recording will get posted on our website, on the main charities page of our website. It's usually posted within about a week or so of the town hall's occurrence. So if anything happens, you get kicked out, you got to go, any of that stuff, the recording will get posted. You'll be able to catch the whole thing again, or anything you miss as soon as we have it posted on the charity page of our website. So again, thanks for joining us today. Today, we're just going to talk about how to come back into compliance, fixing registration issues that charities may have. I kind of said at the front before I went through my opening monologue there. If you learn anything else, reach out to us and ask questions. If you don't know why you're not current, tell us, ask us. We'll let you know what to do and get you moving in the right direction. So we're going to go through these slides here. The first few are just some general definitions and things. We regulate the Maryland Solicitations Act, which is found in the Annotated Code of Maryland Business Regulation Article Title 6, and the Code of Maryland Regulations Title 1, Subtitle 2, Chapter 4. That's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with the Maryland Solicitations Act and charitable solicitation registration. So just generally a few things up front to cover that I always like to cover on these town halls is, does my organization have to register? Do I even need to file with the Secretary of State's office? These 3 points lay out why one must register with us. That an organization solicits charitable contributions in Maryland, has contributions solicited on its behalf in Maryland, or solicits charitable contributions outside of Maryland if the organization is in Maryland. So if you're located in Maryland and soliciting anywhere, you have to be registered with us before you do that. And that bold and italicized wording there at the bottom, organization's located in Maryland and has a donate button on its website, or asks for donations on social media, that is considered soliciting charitable contributions in Maryland. One of the most frequently asked questions we get in relation to that is, what if I'm a charity located outside of Maryland and I have a donate button on my website? That in and of itself would not make you have to register with us. But if you get a donation from a Marylander and then you ask them for more donations in the future, right? If they end up on your email list, the moment you start contacting them directly, then you'd have to register. But if you're located in Maryland and you have a donate button for registration with us to solicit charitable contributions is needed. So on to this next page here. What is a charitable contribution? Also very important to know. It's a contribution made on the representation that it will be used for a charitable purpose. Charitable contributions can include a bunch of things: payments, transfer, or enforceable pledge of financial help, money, credit, property, services. So not just money donated, but stuff as well. People donate items to you that have a value. That's a contribution. If you're asking for those contributions, you would have to register with our organization to solicit contributions, cash or in kind, right? Monetary or in kind. Those are all types of contributions. Charitable contributions do not include certain things as defined under the Maryland Solicitations Act. Contributions do not include an unsolicited gift. They do not include a government grant or government money. So if you are applying to a government agency, whether that's the federal government, the state government, or county or municipal government, any one of those things, that's a government grant, and that would not require registration. Government grants do not require charitable registration. Membership dues or assessments, property sold, services rendered. So you just pay for a service. You make a payment, you get something back for that payment. And so that's not a contribution. A public safety contribution, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but think fire department organizations created for public safety that have active public safety individuals as a part of the organization. An authorization for or a discount on the use of services or materials or equipment, things of that nature. The most commonly mistaken one, though, government grants, not a charitable contribution. If the only thing you're doing is applying to the government for grants, you wouldn't even have to register with us because those are not charitable contributions. And if you're not soliciting charitable contributions, you do not have to register. So what's charitable solicitation? This is the other most important term before we get into the real meat and potatoes of what we're talking about here today. Charitable solicitation is an oral or written request for a charitable contribution. It is a solicitation regardless of whether the person who makes the request receives a charitable contribution. If I ask for charitable contributions, whether you give or not, that's a charitable solicitation. Charitable solicitation includes a lot of things. It's not just the standard, I get a phone call asking for money, I send an email asking for money, I send a mailer asking for money. Fundraising events, sale of items with which a charitable appeal is attached. I'm going to really draw focus to that last bullet point here, the sale of or offer or attempt to sell, and it lists a bunch of things. A chance means like a raffle ticket, right? A raffle ticket is a chance. Or merchandise, or other tangible item in connection with which an appeal is made for charitable contributions. The name of the charitable organization is used expressly or implicitly to induce a purchase, or statement is made that some or all the proceeds from the sale are to be used for a charitable purpose. So if these things are happening and one of those three things is occurring with that attempt to sell something, then that is a charitable solicitation. What that also means is that the money received as a result of that solicitation is a charitable contribution. So think fundraising event revenue. The gross amount from your fundraising events counts towards the charitable contribution thresholds for the purpose of registering with our office. So important things to think about. No, this is probably the most misunderstood definition because everybody thinks in the terms of what the IRS definition is for making a contribution or receiving a contribution. And under the Maryland Solicitations Act, even something that may not be tax deductible to the donor may be considered a charitable contribution under the Solicitations Act because it was received as a result of something that's considered a charitable solicitation. So we're not going to focus too much on that. We have a whole town hall that kind of lays out the registration requirements, talks about all that in more depth. It's on the main charity page of our website. If anybody ever wanted to go take a look, it's there and it covers that in a lot more detail. So on to the matter at hand, right? How to fix compliance issues. The number one sounds so cheesy, but the best way to fix it is to not fall out of compliance. Life happens, and sometimes that happens, and that may have happened before you were even involved in the charitable organization, and here you are just trying to clean it up. So the most common things that happen that prevent a charity from maintaining compliance: incomplete applications to register, organizations that file with us for the first time to try to solicit don't actually complete the filing, not paying a registration fee, missing supporting documentation is a big one. We're going to talk about some specific things that tend to be missing from folks, just kind of universally issues that are universally things that we run across from organizations. Outstanding late fees. We don't like late fees either, but it's part of the law, and filing annual registrations on time prevent those late fees. But if you get a late fee, it's the organization can't be back into compliance until those late fees are paid. So when a charitable organization is in the public registry, and I'm going to share the link with that here on a later slide, it indicates delinquent registration. It means that the office's records reflect incomplete or missing items, causing a charity to appear out of compliance with the registration requirements. So if you ever check your organization out on our public facing search page and it says not current or delinquent, that means we think you're behind. And if you don't think you're behind, make sure you're reaching out to us to find out what it is. Maybe it is a misunderstanding, maybe it's not, but don't let that float out there and just assume that that it is a misunderstanding, because if we have you showing as delinquent, then that's what everybody else is seeing too, and you don't want that to be seen out there, especially if you should be current. So reach out. So just resolving registration issues. What do we do? That public registry page I just talked about. This is the direct link to it. It's a very long link. And again, this will be recorded. So if you don't get it all, that's okay. It'll be there later. And you can also get to it from the charity page on our website. If you were to go to sos.maryland, Maryland spelled out, .gov, SOS like Secretary of State, .maryland spelled out, .gov, G-O-V, and you click on the charities page and you go to the charities page, one of the links down the left-hand side will be the search a charity page, and this is where it'll take you to. And you can check out your charity status. You can also, if you are a charitable organization, you can look up your status by going into your one-stop account, onestop.md.gov, which is where you file your online annual registrations with us. After you log in, you switch over to your entity account, and your registration status will appear on the dashboard. So if you have never used the online filing system, and you go on the one stop and you try to create an account and there's nothing in your entity account and there's not a record to claim, reach out to us. That probably means you're not the record holder. We don't have you as the email address of record. That's a very important thing, because anybody just can't come file for you or access your stuff. You have to be the record holder or designated as a user by the record holder in order to access your files on one stop. So common reasons unregistered charities are out of compliance. We talk about this pretty straightforward basic list here: failing to file that initial registration form, failing to complete it. The organization is supposed to be registered before it solicits charitable contributions in Maryland. That said, if you're sitting on this call and you've never registered before and you're soliciting charitable contributions, just go get it in. Don't panic and hide in the shadows. Just get that registration form in. Failure to submit all the following documents to the office: so the registration statement, governing documents, articles of incorporation, IRS tax determination letter, 990 or 990E0 COF 85, auditor financial review if it's required, board of directors list. This is a quick summary of an initial registration. It doesn't have everything, but it has almost everything that you would submit to file to register with us the first time. But all these items are needed. I'm not surprising, but I guess I get some surprised somewhat. The amount of times we get a registration statement and none of the accompanying documentation. That's never a problem for folks that are filing online because it won't let you submit it without the attachments. But on the occasion, we get a paper app that finds its way in here. Get the registration statement, but I don't get anything else required. And that paper application still has instructions attached to it and a checklist of everything that's needed. So if you're filling that out, make sure you're actually reading the checklist and the instructions that you can complete it the first time. Registration is incomplete until any outstanding fees are paid to the office, right? An initial registration fee, or whether it's an annual filing fee or a late fee. Generally speaking, if something is missing as part of a registration, you're going to get contacted by our office. The number one way that's going to happen is by email to the email address or record for the organization that you provide to us. Make sure it's an email you're going to check. I see info ats, and that's a nice generic general email that more than one person probably has access to. I'm amazed at how many aren't being responded to or being checked, or maybe one person assumes somebody else is handling them. Make sure it's something that somebody's actually going to check and read and act on if you're giving it to us as the email address or record for the charitable organization. That's the number one way we're reaching out to you. The email address that you give us on your registration form. The email address is required. One of the nice things about the system, and it's going to touch on this a little later, is it sends out automated reminders for your annual registrations. So if we have a good email address or record that's provided to us, it's going to go to that email address or record, and you're going to see those and know, oh, I got to file something soon, or oh, I need to file something now. Or just I'm missing something for my first filing, my initial registration. You're going to get something, though. If you file and you hear nothing from us, something's not right. And it may just be that it hasn't been processed yet, but we've sent something to you if we've reviewed that paperwork. So if you're sitting there 2-3 months later and you haven't seen anything, check that inbox, check that spam folder, make sure nothing's sitting in there, and don't let it run 2 to 3 months before you start checking. If it's an online filing, it's getting reviewed within a couple of weeks. Even in busy periods, it's usually getting reviewed in a couple of weeks tops. And during some of the less busy periods, it's getting reviewed even faster than that. So make sure you're checking your inbox, make sure you're on the lookout for it. You're going to get a notice that tells you what to do if something's wrong. And if it's complete, you're going to get a notice that tells you it's complete. So be on the lookout for it. I always tell folks, don't just assume. Don't assume. Appreciate the faith you have in us. But if you haven't heard from us, reach out and check. If you file online, just go check the status online, right? If it says pending or incomplete or something and you don't know why, ask us why. We want you to know. We want you to successfully file and stay current. So you might get a phone call or a letter if it takes too long and an organization's too far behind. You'll get some phone calls and letters from us eventually. But the main response, the initial response, is going to be an email, whether it's good, bad, or something else. It's going to be an email. What happens after we're reviewing an initial or a new registration? You're going to get that response. I just talked about that a lot here. If the organization's registration is complete, that email is going to tell you that. It's going to give you your next due dates. It's going to give you your next due date. Write that down somewhere, right? Mark it on a calendar. As a charity, you got to worry about different filings with different agencies for different reasons. Make yourself a filing calendar, right? Help yourself remember, when do I need to do this stuff every year? and that date will be in the initial registration approval email if we approve it. If it's incomplete, it's going to tell you what we need to make it complete, and to resubmit the filing, or submit the missing information. And if you don't receive an email, check with us. Again, we want you to succeed. We want you to be in compliance. We want you to be complete when you file. Read those forms, read the instructions, submit everything that's needed. And if you don't hear back from us, reach out to us. If you're getting asked for something on a form on the online system, and you don't think you need to submit it, it's being asked for a reason. Maybe you need to submit it, but if you're unsure, reach out to us and ask. The online form is really designed to get everything right the first time. It asks you the questions that a regular form asks, but it asks them in a slightly different order. And that's to upfront figure out what exactly you need based on what you're trying to file with us. So it asks you the series of questions up front. And as long as you're plugging in that information correctly, then it's going to ask for the right stuff the first time. You just got to submit it and attach it, or attach it and submit it, I should say. Can't submit it if you don't have it attached. I said that part backwards. So the online form is designed to ask for exactly what is due based on the organization and how it responds to those first few questions. If you're an organization that receives less than $25,000 in charitable contributions, those first 4 questions on the annual form online, the annual filing form online, you plug in that data correctly, it's going to take you down the path of filing the exempt organization fundraising notice form. If you're over 25,000 or more, it's going to take you down the path of the annual registration form and the other required attachments and the fee. So the online form is built to ask for exactly what you need based on the way you answer those questions. So we'll walk you down that path. This page here, common reasons registered charities are out of compliance. So I kind of mentioned briefly, there's some reasons this happens. Number one reason, people forget to file the annual registration form. It is an annual filing. The due date is based on your organization's fiscal year. When your fiscal year ends determines when your filing due date is. It is an annual filing. Don't file once and forget about us. Even if you wanted to, our system's going to tell you 4 times before you ever become late and owe a late fee that your registration's due. So as long as somebody's checking that email, you'll see it. But just because you register, you're not done. You're just done for now, and you file an annual registration moving forward. Registrations being incomplete, right? All outstanding documentations need to be submitted. If your filing from last year is incomplete and we're missing items, and you turn around and send the one due this year without ever finishing last year's, we're not going to accept this year's because last year's isn't complete. Gotta finish your annual registration. You can't just skip a filing and pop back up every year or two to file. It's an annual registration requirement, and the organization's not in compliance until all of its past due items are submitted. So if you're looking one day-to-day use case here, if you're filing in the one-stop system, your annual registration, when you generate your renewal form to file in the online system, it generates an online form. The top 2 things at the form is your registration number and the due date that we believe is the due date. If you generate that form and you think you're current, but the due date says you were current as of 11/15/2024, we don't think you're current. We think something is missing from the prior filing. So when you generate those online forms, pay attention to that due date at the top. If it's different than what you think it should be, something might be wrong. If you don't know, reach out to us and ask. Because even if we get a good filing for the current year, if something missing from the prior year, we're still going to send it back to you and say, hey, this is good, but you're still missing X, Y, and Z from the prior year. Right? So we want to make sure that everything is in on time every year. And if that renewal date at the top of the form says a date different than what you think it should be, reach out and ask. If you don't know why, reach out and ask. You talked about failure to pay, renewal fees, or a late fee. It's not done until it's done. That's a part of it. If you're an organization that brings in $25,000 or more in charitable contributions, you will annually owe an annual registration fee. It'll be part of your filing. If you're filing online, it's going to make you pay before you can submit it anyway. So, failing to respond to letters, emails, phone calls, right, to facilitate compliance. We send emails out once we review that application. If it's incomplete, you're getting an email. If it was filed online, you're getting an email from an online filing system that says, "Hey, we got your annual renewal, annual registration, exempt organization fundraising notice, whatever it is that you were giving to us to be in compliance with that annual filing requirement." There's going to be an email if it's incomplete or missing something that tells you that it's incomplete or missing something and what you need to submit to complete it. Please don't ignore that email. Please don't ignore that email. Just earlier today, talk to somebody. Their renewal date is 11/15/24 in the system, and they're asking why. And the reason is they submitted an online filing and it was not complete. And we sent it back and it was just resubmitted as is. And then we sent it back again and it was resubmitted as is again. Read that email, please. It tells you why. It tells you what. And if you keep getting that email and you don't know why, you're not sure, it's not clear, reach out to us and ask us. Reach out to us and ask us. That's the theme of all these pages. When in doubt, ask us. We do want you to be in compliance. And we can't do it for you, but we can definitely get you the information that's needed so that you can file to complete the annual filing requirements. The incomplete annual registrations caused by a missing item, the top 3 things we miss, even in the online system. The first thing here, signed copy of a 990 or 990 EZ. Signed copy. If you e-filed with the IRS, the 990 or 990 EZ, you should have a 1-page form called a e-file signature authorization form. Attach that with your 990. That counts as a signed 990. Give us the 990 and the e-file signature authorization form. Or make sure page 1 of your 990 or page 4 of your 990 EZ is signed by an officer of the organization. Not just the preparer, but the officer of the organization. So make sure it's a signed 990 that we're getting. The online system asks you to attach the file, and it says it in all caps and in bold, signed copy of the 990. Still get it unsigned a lot. The auditor financial review, if it's required, you fill out an online form and you're under the threshold to require an auditor financial review, the form's going to know not to even ask you for it. But if the form's asking you for it, it's a requirement. A financial review is required if you receive contributions of at least $300,000 but less than $750,000. An audit is required if you have charitable contributions for that fiscal year equal to or more than $750,000. The other thing that's routinely missing is the list of the board of directors. Whether it's paper or an online form, regularly occurring problem. We need your current board of directors. Right? If we want to see your board of directors from a year ago or 2 years ago, we'll just look at your 990. But your annual registration, we're asking for your current board of directors. All of them, right? All of them. Paper filings, this list tends to be missing. Online filing, people tend to put 1 or 2 or 3 individuals, but not everybody. Everybody should be listed on the online form. Right? If you got 10 board members, we should see all 10 there. If you have 20 active board members, we should see all 20 names plugged into that form. The nice thing about the online form is once you plug in all those names, they'll show back up again next year. And then if somebody changes, you just got to take them out and put the new person in. So once you plug them in and submit that one annual registration, those names show up moving forward. You just have to replace old board members as they come and go. Those are the biggest three things that are wrong with annual registrations. I would say a close runner up to these is people noting the incorrect fiscal year date that they're reporting on the form. If your 990 is for a fiscal year that ended December 31st, 2024, the fiscal year end date you report on the form should be December 31st, 2024. Don't put today's date. That'll be at the bottom of the form when you sign it. Right? Know your month and your year, which know the month in which your fiscal year ends. Know what form you're reporting. Generally, if you got a 990 or 990 EZ, the fiscal year end on the form that you enter should match the fiscal year end on the 990 you're attaching. What happens after an annual registration is submitted? Same thing that happens for an initial registration, right? We're going to review it and respond. If it's complete, you're going to get an email saying that, and it's going to give you the next due date, right? It's an annual filing. You'll file annually moving forward as long as the organization soliciting charitable contributions in Maryland. That email is going to tell you the next time your annual registration is due. If it's what you filed is missing something or incorrect or incomplete or we're unsure and we need more information, you're going to get an email telling you what it is we need. Submit that to us or, add it to the online form and resubmit it. And that way we can get it back and re-review it, and hopefully it'll be complete the next time around. So if you're getting an email saying something's missing or we have a question or a problem, something's missing or we have a question or a problem. If you have a question or are unsure of what we're trying to say, again, reach out to us. Let us know. We can help. If you do not receive an email from our office about your annual registration, follow up to check its status. And again, in the busy times, May, June, July, November, December, January, when we're getting a ton of annual registrations in, might take a little longer to get back to you. In the slower periods, though, week, 2 weeks tops, usually. At most, maybe even sooner. So make sure you're checking in with us if you filed something and you haven't heard anything yet. So there are notifications that come from our charity system. This is how it breaks down. I mentioned the automated messages from the online filing system. You're going to get 4 messages before you are subject to a late fee. Annual registrations are due right at 6 months after your fiscal year ends, and you get an automatic extension to 10.5 months. That extension mirrors the extension the IRS gives you if you ask for one to file a 990. So you're going to get a renewal reminder. Let's say your fiscal year ended December 31st, 2024, for example. You're going to get a renewal reminder in late May saying, hey, your filing is due June 30th, but if it's not ready, don't worry, you got an automatic extension until November 15th. Please read that whole email before you panic and say, I got an email saying my stuff's due by June 30th, but my 990 is on extension. Well, if your registration is current with us, you automatically get that extension, and that email says that. So just read that whole email. Don't panic when you read the first thing about registration coming up too soon. So you're not ready to file by June 30th. You automatically get that extension if you're current with us, with our office. So you're extended until November 15th in this scenario. You're going to get an email reminder about a month before that extension date saying, hey, we sent you that renewal reminder earlier. We're just reminding you that in about a month, your extension ends. Make sure you get that in. Then on the actual due date, you're going to get an email from our system. Hey, your extension date's today. You might want to get that in. That annual registration's due now. And then you're going to get another reminder a month after that. And it's effectively going to say, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's effectively saying, your filing was due 30 days ago, and if you don't get it in another 30 days, you're going to have a late fee. Right? So the goal is hoping that we're hoping that Those email reminders will trigger more compliance up front, prevent people from forgetting to file. Those reminders are going to the email address of record in the online system. Make sure it's an email that somebody's actually checking and answering. You get an email and you're unsure, reach out to us and ask us. These 4 notifications are sent before an organization's ever assessed the late fee. Right? They're coming to you. If there's a problem and you know you're going to be late in filing with us, reach out and let us know in advance. Tell us beforehand so that we know, so that we're not hounding you even more. Right? But reach out and let us know. If you know it's going to be late, let us know it's going to be late. You'll still get the automated message, but let us know so we know we can make note of that. So again, emphasis, make sure the email address is current. Check your spam folder if you're not seeing these emails. If you're not seeing these emails and they're not in your spam folder, you may not be the email address of record. And if you should be, you need to let us know that. And if you know who the email address of record is and nothing's being done about this, make sure you reach out to your fellow board members and get it done. When in doubt, reach out to us, though. So there are late fees. If you're an organization that receives $25,000 a year in charitable contributions and you're subject to an annual registration fee, you are also subject to a late fee. That late fee is $25 on the 60th day you are late. And it goes up $25 on the first day of each month thereafter. So in that example I gave earlier, your December fiscal year end organization, your December 2024 stuff is due to us by November 15th, 2025. That's the extension deadline. If it's not in by January 15th of 2026, you have a $25 late fee. And then it goes up $25 on the first day of each month thereafter. So February 1st, 50, March 1st, 75, and so on. We don't want that to happen either. Get it in before that deadline if you can. The online form is going to know how to calculate your late fee, and it's going to calculate what you owe. The organization's late fee will increase until all outstanding documentation and fees are received so that you become compliant again, including that late fee. So a few actions to help prevent and resolve registration deficiencies. We send notifications in advance, right? We're trying to prevent anybody from becoming late. It's not fun for you. We don't like it either. Nobody believes me when I say that. We don't like it when you file late. We don't like having to collect late fees. Don't make us. We don't want to either. So just be proactive. We're trying to be proactive with our email notification system that goes out. You may ultimately get a letter if you're late. If you're getting a letter from us, you're more than 60 days late. So you're probably going to have a late fee on that letter. But if the email notifications aren't working, we'll try to follow up in other ways. But don't make us. Just file on time. And if you can't file on time, you know that in advance, let us know. And, but if you are late, you'll get some notifications about that. That's what we're doing reactively. We're going to send notifications if an annual registration is not complete so that we can get what we need to complete it. Those are coming in the form of an email from the online filing system. You might get a separate email from one of our charity officers outside of the system, especially if there's something further they want to explain or bring to your attention about whatever it is you submitted. Be on the lookout for them. We'll take your call. We'll take your email. If we miss your call, leave a message. We'll get back to you. And the phone number to do that at will be here later on. It'll be on a slide on our contact information. And if you send us an email, we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And again, the busiest times of the year, May, June, especially the first half of July, November, December, January, very busy. You may have sent us an email and it might be a day or two before we're back to you. And that's normal. You may have submitted an application. If you submitted an application on November 15th, might be a while before you get it because many hundreds of other people are filing then and many thousands of people are filing in November, December, January, May, June, July. So if you can get it in advance, don't wait to the deadline. You'll get a quicker response, which will put your mind at ease. Or, if it's something that says something's missing, you'll see it and be able to get it in before the rush. So how do we best maintain compliance? Best way is to file on time. I know that sounds obvious, but file on time. Look out for the renewal reminders that come by email. If you're not getting them, make sure we have your valid contact information so that the right email address is getting those notices. Right? We want you to get them because we want you to file on time. We really do. Submit all required documentation. Some folks will just send in things. They'll want to file early. Like, I should just drop in my fee in my form. I don't have my 990 done yet. Submit everything together. Right? Submit everything together. That's especially a habit of some in the paper filing world. We'll get a annual registration form and a board list early. We'll get a fee at early, but at another time, and we'll get an audit 990 yet again at a third different time later. Send it all together, right? Send it all together if you can. Best yet, do it online because you submit it all together. Why is online even better? Well, if you submit it online, it'll say it was submitted and it's under review. You'll know we have it because the status will reflect that. If you drop it in the mail, you're hoping we get it. You'll know we got it if we cash your check, but that doesn't mean it's getting processed at that same time. Be proactive and follow up. If there's not a response received from us to you about the sufficiency of the filing, if it's not in your spam folder in your inbox, reach out to us. Please do reach out to us. I do mean it. Reach out to us. Before we move into if there's some commonly asked questions, Steph, I'll catch you in a second here, that are in the chat box. Just kind of re-summarizing the town hall here. When in doubt, reach out, right? Reach out. If you get something from us asking for something, we think that is needed. If you disagree or you're unsure or you don't know what we mean, reach out to us and ask. This phone number is the main charity line, main line for the charity division. The email address is dlcharity_SOS@maryland.gov. There's an underscore in there between the word charity and SOS. dlcharity_SOS@maryland.gov. Best places to reach out to. Somebody's monitoring that inbox. And we're answering them as fast as we possibly can every day. As fast as we possibly can. So know that and reach out to them. Steph, were there any questions that were kind of commonly shared in the chat box?
Only one, to my knowledge, that a couple people asked about, as far as when you had said that we require a current board list or current list of officers. Can you just explain a little further? They both, suppose they're submitting fiscal year end June 2024 or December 2024. We want current 2025, but what about way back prior years that they're submitting? Would you want the older officers then?
No, just give us your current board list. The thing about if you owe multiple years, that's a great question. And Steph, thanks for reading it out loud. It'll still ask on the online form, especially for your current board list. We will get your old board just by virtue of getting your old 990s and 990 EZs, because your board list is on that document. So if we need to see who your board was from 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, we'll see that. If you're a smaller organization, it's not always, but more, outside of, I'll say, PTAs, youth sports organizations that maybe the board changes regularly. It's almost always the same people anyway, for as long as the organization's around. But current board list, we'll see your old board, as a result of other filings. And again, if you're under $25,000 a year, it's not going to ask for your full board of directors anyway. It's just going to ask you who has custody of the records and the financial decisions that go with those records. So we want the current stuff there, because if something's wrong today, we want to know who's there today so we can reach out. And, yeah, good question. Anything else, Steph, that you want me to address, or I know you were listening. Did I miss anything that you think I should touch on again or touch on at all?
Right. No, well, actually, we do have a lady, Issa, wants to ask the question. She has her hand raised.
Yeah.
So let's see what she
I
has.
will, I'll catch the hand raises here in a few.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure there's no other common themes or anything else I missed. Steph's one of our charity officers. So I asked her because she's the one of the people, one of our 3 or 4 folks that are getting these calls and emails all the time. And every day we're working through those. So thanks, Steph, for reading that off. And
Sure. Yeah, that's the only question I believe that wasn't taken care of in the chat box. Yep.
Cool. Thanks, Steph.
Sure.
I'm gonna summarize here. We'll end recording, and then we'll take any hands raised questions. Tend to do that. Some of these tend to get very specific. So just in advance here, thanks for joining today. It's recorded and it will be posted online within about a week or so of now. And it's informational purposes only, not intended to be legal advice. When in doubt, just reach out to us and let us know that you have questions and what those questions are. We'll do our best to get them answered, and we hopefully keep you current, and if not current, get you back to that all good current status. Thanks for joining us today, folks, and keep doing the good work you're doing at your charitable organization.